Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salaamedia with myself, Salalo Makwidi. The time is 9:34, and you're still tuned in to news and views on your home of humanitarian journalism. And in a bit, we'll be heading down under to the bustling streets of Melbourne city centre, where the voice of solidarity echoed loud and clear down under as thousands took to the streets in a powerful march for Palestinian justice and freedom. And joining us live from Australia is Salaamedia very own Mariam Mia, who's going to be giving us insight on her first-hand account into the moving display of solidarity for the rights and self-determination of the Palestinian people. And we're very eager to hear more about the energy on the ground and what's driving Australians to rally so passionately for the Palestinian cause. Abba Mariam, always a pleasure chatting to you. I haven't seen you in a while, so this is quite a treat for me. Salam, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings to yourself, Salilo, and to our Salaamedia family. I trust everybody is doing well. Just a correction, I was down under. I'm back in sunny South Africa. And this is footage that I had taken. I felt privileged to have an opportunity to partake in a Palestinian solidarity march as well as a protest in the heart of Melbourne. This is downtown Melbourne in the area known as Melbourne Central, the economic heart and the retail heart and district of Melbourne. So, and also, yes, if Salaamedia is short of a camera person, I think maybe I'll have a job there because this footage had been taken by me. So forgive me, it's probably a bit amateurish. But yeah, so all the footage and that. So maybe before we start, should we just play a bit of the footage if we can, just to feel the buzz in the atmosphere, what I experienced on Sunday in downtown Melbourne?
The footage is playing right now in the background. I think at the latter end of the interview, this will be played with audio. But I want to...
Yeah, I'd like the audio. Can we do at some point? Can we just interject? Because then we'll be able to just get a sense of what I'm saying. I think the audio is just going to add to another dimension to the discussion.
All right. Can we have audio? All right. It doesn't seem like we will be able to
okay. All right. We're going to try and get the audio because it's very powerful what is being chanted. And I just wanted to get that. So maybe we can chat a bit while at the back, our technical team can just get us some audio.
Yeah, while they're working on that, I want to chat briefly about, Australia itself, and particularly Melbourne. Why do you think it is becoming such a strong base for Palestinian solidarity? Is there, a unique aspect to the Australian public support in that part of the world?
So I think what we're seeing, and you've interviewed many activists the world over. So what's happening is the citizens of every nation is seeing this aggression, the genocide for what it is. They no longer, their moral conscience dictates, and they can no longer be silent despite what the governments are telling them, despite what some of the Western media or Zionist media are trying to project. People are seeing the genocide for what it is. So this is no longer a global Muslim issue. This is a human rights issue. This is a genocide issue. This is citizens for citizens speaking out. So you've seen this everywhere in Europe. You've seen this in Africa, in America, in Canada, in the East as well. So I think Melbourne is no different. But what is Melbourne? Melbourne is a melting pot of various cultures. So people from various descents, expats everywhere from Britain to Europe to East Asia to Central Asia to Africa, Middle East. Everybody comes to Melbourne, to Australia, because Australia is in need of workforce. There's a shortage of workforce. So everybody comes here. So it's a global melting point. And another significant factor, so why I've seen this march has grown intensity now is because of the aggression meted out and the hostilities towards Lebanon. Remember, Australia itself, including Melbourne, has a large expat Lebanese community. They are very much part of the fabric and the tapestry of Australian life. And I think that is why also the protest and the solidarity has increased, because now it's not just about Palestine and Gaza, but it's about Lebanon as well. And in the posters, that you can clearly see that, because now it's expanded, and I think it's spilled over, and that is why um, the support base has increased in terms of protest and solidarity.
Mm, mm. Whenever I'm seeing things like this, I always like to make, comparison or correlations to here at home in South Africa, because we see when it comes to pro-Palestinian marches and protests here, there's always, tapping into our own history of, apartheid and what our own country has gone through. In Australia, we know that it has its own unique history with indigenous people's struggles there. Did you notice any intersections or alliances between Palestinian solidarity groups and other activist communities there?
Okay, can you see this here? It says Australian. We must. This is a pamphlet. What's happening there? Sorry, just to go back before I answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening there is there's a pamphlet, because what's happening is Australian police are clamping down now on protesters. They're detaining them, they're incarcerating. Can you see the guy? He's handing out the poster there. That was the one that was given to me as well, to create awareness that this is what the police are trying to do now, is to try and squash, to try and squell, to try and take away your freedom and your right to protest. And yes, can you see the they're calling it anti-genocide protest? And this is what's happening now in Australia, because what's happening is the solidarity and opposition to what is happening is increasing. So that is another concern, that's what's happening here in the opposition party, the Socialist Party. This is something they feel very strongly about, and this is one of the campaigning points, is to then sort out this what is happening currently, because in Australia, you have goods, just like South Africa, you have the right to protest. But what is happening is you are being now incarcerated or detained because you are protesting. To answer your question, so that is why I also wanted to play the clips a bit for you, Salilo, because, in South Africa, I found that many of the protests I went to, although there was a population of maybe a few whites and, to use the term native Africans in our country, but mostly it's been focused that the Muslim community had been at the forefront of the protests. Whereas in Melbourne, what I observed was really different, and it was that what added to the atmosphere. It was people from all ethnicities, all races, all colors. It was such a diverse group of protesters. Everybody from people from European descent, British descent, native Aborigine population, the Arab community, the Lebanese community. There were people from the East, the Chinese Korean community, people from Philippines, Malaysia. So for me, that for me was so different compared to all the other solidarity protests that I've attended in South Africa. It was the diversity of the people that were protesting for human rights, because this is a total flagrant of human rights abuse. It's a human rights atrocity that's currently happening, and I think the larger Australian population, the citizens, are calling it for what it is, and they all united in unison in terms of their opposition. And for me, that was something I didn't experience here in South Africa as much as I did. That coming together of every ethnicity and race I've seen, and I've witnessed from the accents and that as well. And also the awareness also extended to Sudan as well. So I've seen a few natives of Sudanese who were there, who took the opportunity as well to create awareness of what is happening in Sudan as well.
I think you mentioned something quite, important and powerful. The fact that there seems to be more overwhelming diversity when it comes to Palestinian solidarity in Australia. In South Africa, how do you think we can get to that point where solidarity is not just concentrated to a certain sect of people? I mean, we always say South Africa is so diverse. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves in, but we're not seeing that diversity when it comes to Palestinian solidarity. How do we get to that point, that people understand that this is not just a black, white, or Indian Muslim thing, but it's a human rights issue that us as South Africans, as a general population of the country, probably understand more than most around the world?
So starting, I think we have to give credit to Salaamedia as well to show that this is a human rights issue. It's not a religious issue, or uh, in terms of that, yes, the majority of the people in Palestine are Muslims. I mean, you have Christian Palestinians as well. But in having said that, this now is become a total human rights issue, especially the genocide. I was watching a documentary on the plane regarding the genocide in Rwanda, and they were saying some 30,000 people at the time were massacred or lost their life, the Tutsis. And if
Mm,
you compare what we term as genocides in other countries, what has happened now in Palestine over the year in a month has far surpassed in terms of people who sadly lost their lives. So definitely there's no getting around it. This is a genocide. The thing in South Africa is many of the media houses and narratives are controlled by the Zionists.
mm,
And this is what we've been trying to get out the message, and also to not even, I don't like to use alternate media, but to get the correct narrative out there and to surpass and supersede that narrative and give a factual, true account of this. Having Sister Yumna Al Sayed here, now we'll have Brother Hamza coming here, and also featuring many Palestinian analysts, activists. This is what we're doing, and as well as talking to people from Gaza, ordinary citizens from Gaza, like we speak to Ashraf Sheikh regularly as well, because this is what we need to do: get the correct narrative out there, because the Zionist media machine is very strong, especially
mm,
in South Africa. Many of the media houses are controlled by the Zionists, hence they control the narrative. They prime the minds of the society. Hence, we have this sympathizers towards Israel. And then we have the people that it's not even being pro-Palestinian, it's being pro-human rights. And this is what we need to change the narrative. As we can see, people are beginning to see this is you're not being pro-Palestinian, you're being pro-humanity, pro-human rights. And this is what we need to do. And I think we need to continue amplifying voices like this. If you happen to be anywhere world over, please take your phone, put footage here, share the footage, come on air, as I did in Melbourne. I joined the march, and then I became a cameraman here and a reporter here, and then I brought this to amplify the world. What you're reading in the newspapers is, especially Zionist controlled media, is not the truth. Ordinary citizens are pro-humanity,
mm,
pro-human life, and yes, anti genocide. So
mm.
this is what the message, and this is what my little contribution was. Let's ordinary citizens amplify the voice, speak the truth, and give the factual correct narrative. It's not, I was watching uh, what's his name, Mahdi Al Hassan,
Mhm,
having a debate with Levi. And what was Levi's defense? Oh, we have to get rid of Hamas because perchance another 7th October happens. But for your fear of another 7th October, how many thousands are maimed? How many are injured? How many thousands are being killed? Perchance for this, is that your only defense, that you act with impunity and aggression and kill? To you, they're just nameless, faceless people with bodies lying around. So, the world is waking up. Global citizens are united in their opposition, in their solidarity against this genocide. It's nothing but a genocide that is happening. And it's 104 days today, Salilo. 104 days of patience, of perseverance, and of untold hardship that the Palestinians are going through.
And just lastly, in closing, as a South African, we know that our country is head and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to Palestinian solidarity. How were you received in Australia? And in this protest specifically, did people recognize you as a South African and the contributions that we as a country are making when it comes to Palestinian solidarity? That's number one. And number two, did you teach them the Amandla way to chant?
Absolutely. When they hear you from South Africa, they in awe of you, that you have a government that, took it to The Hague, supported this. So they feel proud. But Salailo, this wasn't only the feeling I got in Australia. In Palestine, alhamdulillah, a couple of months ago when I was in Jerusalem, and when I just said I come from South Africa, the shopkeepers say, welcome, welcome, my sister. You are South African. You are people. You stay with us. So wherever we go, we are proudly South African. And when I tell them I'm part, or I volunteer and I'm part of a humanitarian journalist station in South Africa, Salaamedia, and you know what, we amplify the voices. That as well, just brings that to another level of admiration and appreciation. You know what? There was no chance of Amanla where to, because if you hear the drums in the background, I was drummed out and I was sung out by the chants and the drum. So you know what? They have their own fears. And I think we should embrace everybody's way of protesting. And in fact, I was just in that sea of that protest, and I really enjoyed it because it just uplifts you and it just draws you into that protest. It was a different experience, and I didn't want to go there now with my South Africanness and stamp my authority. I just wanted to look at that. I just wanted to enjoy those drums and enjoy that moment and take in as much as I could.
No, definitely. We're going to leave it here for now. Appa, thank you so much for giving us your time. And I think your video work is really good. I almost feel like I'm there, just looking at it. So really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon. You should pop into the studio.
Inshallah, I definitely will do. And please focus on the tapestry. It was a watermelon with Free Palestine that was handmade in a circular that we are all one. Yeah, so there were many, many symbols like this in artworks in the march. So it was a really, really enjoyable experience. And thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to amplify this atmosphere and what I did. And just one more point before I leave you. This protest march is happening in downtown Melbourne Central. It started the first week after 7th October, and every Sunday, it happens every Sunday. It's now really over 54 weeks that this protest is happening now in downtown Melbourne. So it's a sustained, committed protest.
And we take our hats off to our comrades out in Australia. I think amplifying the message there. Appa, thank you so much. We're going to leave it here for now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam. Well, there you have it there. One of our own, Mariam Mia, giving us her first-hand account of a very powerful Palestinian solidarity march out in the streets of Melbourne in central Melbourne in Australia. And yeah, I think it's quite interesting just how different parts of the world go about, protesting and trying to amplify the Palestinian voice. I think it was interesting to have one of our own there to experience it firsthand, although I'm a bit disappointed that she didn't teach them the Amandla way to chant in true South African fashion. But anyway, going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues.
We are here in the middle of a Zahra neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is already destroyed. More than 17 towers are down. Here, as you can see, the firefighters trying their best to help. The people are still under the rubble. A lot of the people.
Join Hamza on his exclusive South African tour as he shares his personal experiences, never before seen footage, and powerful insights on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is more than just a talk. It's an invitation to witness Gaza through the lens of Hamza Sha'alan. Don't miss this opportunity to meet the photojournalist who brought Gaza's pain and perseverance to the world in its darkest moments. Follow Salam Media on social media pages for more on this tour and be part of the conversation.